Welcome to Season 4 of MLS NEXT Pro. I'm Sam Goldfarb. Just 18 weeks ago, we crowned our third Cup champion. What might be in store for us in 2025, though? Take a look.
Should be a fun season of MLS NEXT Pro.
Wins it! The opening weekend of the MLS NEXT Pro season brings us to Kennesaw, Georgia tonight, where a new look Atlanta United 2 squad looks to kickstart 2024 on the right foot against a Red Bulls 2 side that returns a bevy of talent from a season ago. A major tone setter in the Eastern Conference this evening. We say hello and welcome here from Fifth Third Stadium on the outskirts of Atlanta. I'm Sam Goldfarb, excited to bring you all of the action in a battle between a pair of teams that are looking to get back to the postseason after down years in 2024, addressing that problem in different ways. An Atlanta team bringing in 9 new pieces, a Red Bulls team returning 16. It should be an enthralling one here from Atlanta. And now, speaking of the personnel for tonight's team, let's take a look at Atlanta United 2's 11 tonight. A squad that, as we mentioned, added 9 new players in the offseason. How about this? They start 5 of them, including Ryan Carmichael, who put up 9 goals and 6 assists for Inter Miami 2 a season ago. And in defense, a team looking to reinforce things at the back. Saul Mazzaferro is the anchor next to Efrain Morales. That should be a tough center back pairing to break down for Steve Cook's squad. On the other side of things, for third-year headman Ibrahim Sakaya, a lot of returning pieces, but many academy lads in the 11 tonight, starting with Christian Gallagher up front. Some new additions in midfield with Matthew Dos Santos playing that left wing back role. But the player to watch, the new addition to watch, number 70, Andy Rojas, on loan from Herediano, someone who lit things up with those the Costa Rican Giants, now looking to carry over that success to MLS Next Pro. He should be quite the player to keep your eyes on tonight if you are a fan of the Red Bulls organization. Well, we're just about set for kickoff between these two teams. Another season of MLS Next Pro action getting underway. You see Atlanta in their usual black and red strip with the gold numbers. New York Red Bulls opting for more of a cream look with black numbers tonight as these two teams meet for the 4th time since both clubs entered MLS Next Pro in 2023. It is a fixture Atlanta has not won since both teams made the move to Next Pro. Well, last year when these two teams met, a 6-2 throttling, but Atlanta revamping and hoping for a better result this time around to open up 2025. And the Next Pro campaign is underway from Kennesaw. We welcome you into Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action tonight. Should be an exciting affair between these two teams. An early set piece, and Javi Armas stands over it. The captain for Atlanta United too, someone who's been the culture setter in the dressing room over the past 2 years for the Five Stripes. Early words with the official. Tablante to deliver. And it is a delivery that lacks the power required. It's an Atlanta United 2 side that, as we mentioned last season, a struggle, a team that finished 13th in the Eastern Conference. But when you look at what the front office has done to completely reload this season, it's been impressive to watch. We mentioned, of course, the 9 new signings, 5 of which start tonight, and a couple of which will expect to play prominent roles. The likes of Patrick Weah and Nick Sessuk not in the squad tonight. Both of them expected to factor in over the course of the campaign. When talking to Steve Cook, he said he expects this team to score far more goals than they did a season ago. It was a side that monopolized possession but just lacked that bit of final product. He does not expect that to be a problem here in 2025. On the other side, a Red Bulls 2 bunch that flourished in the final third, a team known for its pressing and transitional ability. But when talking to Ibrahim Sakaya, he mentioned how it was a squad that really lacked at the back, allowed the 3rd most goals in MLS Next Pro. He believes in preseason the effort has been much improved without the ball, and he hopes that will carry over into 2025. Here is the 17-year-old Atlanta United Academy product, Braden Dunham. Steve Cook has raved about his efforts in preseason and expects him to really contend for a starting role this year. And this is Brennan. It's read well by Dylan Sullivan, an experienced member of the Red Bull midfield. Inside the final 5 minutes here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia, right on the outskirts of Atlanta. Atlanta United 2 looking to settle into a new campaign and get it started on the right foot. A team that has opted for much more age and experience in this year's squad. Serwata reading that to perfection. Brennan was clattered to the deck. This is well within Javi Armas delivery territory. Designated set piece taker for this Atlanta bunch. Floated towards the back post. It's a decent delivery and one which draws Aiden Stokes into action. It will yield Atlanta's first corner of the night. Positive early involvements from Stokes, homegrown talent who spent the bulk of last season in Next Pro. It appears he will be the go-to once again for Red Bulls 2 this season. Blante with a chance to practice his in-swinging ball. Looked it towards the heart of the area. Dunham went up for it, only as far as Armas. Now working to the byline. Early on, it's becoming set piece practice for the Five Stripes. Armas is in swinger, decent one. Punched out to Will Riley, the Stanford product, returning to his boyhood club. Brennan. And finally, Red Bulls able to alleviate some pressure. Talking to Steve Cook this week, he mentioned how, in many ways, preparing for Red Bulls 2 is, in a season opener, a little more complex than normal. A team that presses heavy, is very transition-based. Said they're not a side you want to face in your season opener because they bring so much intensity. And when you, of course, look at the result the last time these two teams played, at 6-2 throttling in Harrison, New Jersey, was a less than ideal meeting for Atlanta. Obviously, a lot of personnel turnover since that point. He mentioned how his lads would have to get up for it right away. And while preparations in terms of tactics were a little easier to decipher because Red Bull's brand is pretty well known throughout the league. It's a team that throws the kitchen sink at you out of possession. It's their first proper bout of the ball tonight. Modelo. He'll lose out here, and this is Carmichael's first touch. Former Miami star, and may have just drawn an early yellow. Dylan Sullivan, the first man booked here in the new campaign. We get a look here. Quick break from Atlanta. Brennan linking well with Carmichael, and it's a cynical tackle from Sullivan. Perhaps harsh this early in the match, but no mistakes from our officiating crew setting the tone early. The crew that consists of Elvis Osmonovich, Sarah Gaddies, Jonathan Smith, and John Rush, his 3 assistants. So the yellow early on Sullivan. Armas. Well, if you're just joining us, we welcome you into Kennesaw, Georgia. It's Atlanta United 2 and New York Red Bulls 2. Squaring off for the 4th time since both clubs entered Next Pro in 2023. A matchup Atlanta has not won since both clubs joined this league. They've only snatched 1 point from 3 meetings. And on both teams still feeling each other out. This is Ibrahim Kasule, a dynamic ball forward, and one that Jaden Hibbert doesn't deal with confidently. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Emory Healthcare. Mazzaferro. Well, he is the big new addition in the heart of defense for Atlanta United 2, a team that conceded the 2nd most goals in Next Pro with 64 in 28 matches, and they've addressed that by bringing in a number of veterans along the back 4. Mazzaferro is someone who, of course, helped anchor Austin FC2 to their 2023 MLS Next Pro title. Stokes lost this out of play. So yet another Atlanta corner. Armas with in-swing again. It's Dunham who heads it along into a dangerous area, and Stokes is there to greet it. Well, so far, if you are Atlanta, have to be pleased with how the opening quarter of an hour's unfolded. Very little possession for Red Bulls. The press hasn't taken effect. Although they search forward here. This is Rojas. Well beyond the reach of Kasule. There's your first proper look at Jaden Hibbert, a 20-year-old goalkeeper out of the University of Connecticut, last year's 19th overall pick. Spent the bulk of last season with the Next Pro team. He is the 3rd-string first-team goalkeeper, so you can expect to see him play big minutes as long as the goalkeeping options stay healthy for Atlanta's first-team unit. Armas, a progressive ball towards Tablante. Looking for him once again. Javier Armas mentioned stylistically, he loves to play those progressive passes forward. 7 goals last season, but more of a deeper lying midfielder. Got a lot of those goals from the penalty spot. He believes that this group of players allows him to play a bit more progressively, as Modelo will win Red Bull's first corner of the night. And they said actually took the final touch off of Aimar Modelo. Well, a quarter of an hour gone. And so far, Atlanta largely controlling the run of play. Still awaiting our first proper chance either way, but Atlanta far more on the front foot than maybe many would have expected entering the night. Armas. And escorting it wide. This is Ronan Wen to Blante. And Kasule. Company looking to solidify things. It was Serwada who committed the foul. See him just dangle the boot, goes for the ball and misses entirely. Moises Tablante causing some early trouble for the Red Bulls midfield. Now he and Armas stand over this set piece. Floated to the near post. Neri got ahead to it. And a really good save from Stokes to get down quickly. Rodrigo Neri finding himself completely unmarked and nearly made Red Bulls 2 pay the price. Serwada. This is Kasule. Ever consistent, someone with 24 goals in 2 seasons for New York Red Bulls too. We're talking to Ibrahim Sagaya. He mentioned how his production came and went a bit more than perhaps Red Bulls 2 would have hoped for after a dominant campaign in 2023 where he was named best 11. Feels that this season it will be a bounce back for him and the production will soar back above 10 goals. Someone who set records for this Red Bulls 2 club over the course of his tenure. Good challenge from Armas to Blante again. Blante just racking up fouls left and right at the minute. Kasule. This is Rojas, the man to watch in the cream kits tonight. One back by Armas. Right now, Atlanta's midfield just marshalling things, winning the ball back with regularity and stymieing any forays forward by New York at the source. Neri. One-way traffic so far in this first half. You see Atlanta's blend of youth and experience, something that they really harped on in their pre-match phone call this week, manifesting itself in the early stages. It is a team that went unbeaten in the preseason, which Steve Cook downplayed that. He said, I've been on teams where we lost every preseason match and then won the first 9 and vice versa. But it did create a lot of cause for optimism, and the players voiced some of that as well. So far reflected by their performance on the pitch. Have yet to display that final third cutting edge, but really appear on the pace of things tonight. Rojas. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher. Just beyond the 20-minute threshold here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium, the season opener between Atlanta United 2 and New York Red Bulls 2, and so far no score, but Atlanta bossing the run of play, as New York still looks to find its footing after a 2024 campaign that didn't necessarily go according to plan. A team that returned a good share of the 2023 squad, which made the Eastern Conference semifinals, but slumped through the dog days of summer and found itself 5 points off the pace. Here's the cross from Modelo. And now Sullivan, already playing on that yellow card. See Sullivan here just outwitting Rodrigo Neri. Of course, not a defender by trade. New York with their first appetizing set piece of note. It is Andy Rojas and Matthew Dos Santos, the 16-year-old Red Bull Academy player, who stand over this. And Jaden Hibbert may face his first real test tonight. Dos Santos hooking it in. A decent ball. It was a Red Bull man who got his head to it, but unable to keep it down and properly test the man between the sticks and Hibbert. It's not a bad delivery by any means. The 16-year-old Dos Santos puts this in a really dangerous place in the quarter of uncertainty. And you just see Aiden O'Connor, the former first-round MLS Super Draft pick, unable to steer it on target. Hibbert in some trouble. Perhaps Red Bulls finding their organization out of possession. Talking to Steve Cook, he mentioned how they expected to be pressed heavily, and Javi Armas also discussed how that forces him to adapt his game a little bit. They like to play direct a lot to Armas, but because of the press, need to play a little more controlled and play an extra pass before their key creator can get on the ball. So far, though, we've seen it affect Atlanta quite minimally through the first stages of this opening half. Kasule. Modelo giving chase. And now Red Bulls 2 with their first corner of the night. A New York team known for its dynamism going forward over the last 3 seasons of Ibrahim Sakaya's tenure. Perhaps beginning to find its foothold. It is Dos Santos who stands over this. Lefty with in-swing. Perhaps too tight on the touchline. Armas loses it, and this is Surwata. Right to perfection by Ronan Wynn, the second-round pick by Atlanta in this year's Super Draft. 2-time Summit League Player of the Year at Denver. Someone who recovered from an injury that cost him his 2023 season to win the Player of the Year award again in 2024. More known for his defensive prowess, but did pitch in 13 assists and 70 college appearances. Riley. And may have been dealt a parting gift. And the yellow immediately shown as well. No nonsense, Jair Colahuaso entering the book for Red Bulls 2, the second man in the cream kits to be booked tonight. It's a 50-50 here, and it's actually Dos Santos who logs the challenge. But Colahuaso, the man who utters his displeasure and is shown the yellow. And remember, there's a new rule in MLS Next Pro, only the captain rules, so only the captain is allowed to speak to the official to minimize instances where they get surrounded by players or dissent from a bevy of players on the side. And Colahuaso not the captain tonight. The listed captain is Juan Gutierrez, so perhaps his reaction is what yielded that yellow card from our lead official tonight, who is following the new rules in MLS. The rule also instituted in the MLS. Modelo finds Kasule. Perhaps a break forward for New York. It's one that's cleaned up by Wynn. You factor in year by year in MLS Next Pro new additions from a rules standpoint. Of course, they're best known for the time substitution rules and the off-field treatment rules, which are meant to minimize gamesmanship in the later stages. And when you look at the numerical effect of those adjustments, they've had a real positive impact on actual play time. This is more meant to clean up things, avoid potential instances in which referees feel pressure. And only the captain rule already having an early effect, it seems. And we rapidly approach the 30-minute marker, and still no score between Atlanta and New York Red Bulls. An Atlanta side that's still trying to connect chemistry-wise. 5 of their 9 new additions in the 11 tonight. And we've really hardly seen the likes of Ryan Carmichael get on the ball in a dangerous area. Have seen a bit from Moises Tablante. Atlanta still appearing to be connecting on the pitch in the young stages of this campaign. Riley. And here's Dunham. Tablante. And well, this may yield a response from the official. Juan Gutierrez tugging him to the deck. And a 3rd yellow card shown to a Red Bulls player in this first half. 3 Red Bulls in the book. 2 of the 3 center backs already walking the tightrope. You see Juan Gutierrez here. It's an unnecessary tackle. He loses out here and just tugs on Tablante's shirt. It's very unwarranted, and the official rightfully brandishes the card. Elvis Osmanovic already a very busy opening 30 minutes. If you're just joining us, we welcome you to Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Business end of this first half. No score between Atlanta United 2 and New York Red Bulls 2. Match in which Atlanta got off to a positive start. It's gotten pretty choppy since for both squads. Win is looking to change that. Decent ball in towards Neri. Just overcooked it. Kasule. Snatched back by Armas, the industrious man in the middle. Perhaps space to break for Red Bulls too. Rojas giving chase, and Hibbert won the foot race. Numbers here for Atlanta. This is Riley laying it off for Carmichael, who's through, and an excellent stop from Stokes. First proper break neutralized, but some promise on the counter from Atlanta. It's quick here, and it's just a mistimed pass, one that's just snatched off Colahuaso. And now you see Riley run rampant. Carmichael doing very well to position his run, and it may have even taken a deflection off Gutierrez, the sliding challenge which made the difference. That may have really troubled Stokes between the sticks if Gutierrez's boot didn't get in the way. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Adidas. We inch closer to halftime here in Kennesaw, Georgia, on a chilly night by Atlanta area standards. Atlanta starting to twist the screws, and moments ago, their best chance of the night neutralized by a much-needed intervention by Juan Gutierrez. It's been a start that has been slower than I'm sure both teams would have liked, but Atlanta enjoying the better of the action through the opening half hour. So Javi Armas continues to get target practice from this near corner flag with in swing. You see the early impact by Javi Armas and Will Riley, a very experienced duo. More emphasis on blending youth and experience. Towards the end of last season, a lot of academy products making their way through the team and gaining valuable professional minutes. There wasn't someone in the team with multiple years of professional level play. Javi Armas was the oldest player and captained the side, but was in his first season. Now with him getting more minutes under his belt, then bringing established Next Pro veterans into the fold, there appears to be a more positive sense around their ability to handle adverse moments. Haven't been many of those tonight, though. New York hoping to create one here. Floated into the box. And only as far as Serwada. And O'Reilly is clattered to the deck. So is Brennan. Tablante wins it back. Floats towards Neri, and reinforcements didn't arrive in time. Brennan. And this is a very encouraging opportunity for the Five Stripes. Well, the first teamer, Luke Brennan, you see him just dip inside on his right foot. And a late challenge, one from Dylan Sullivan, who's already sitting on that yellow card. Not enough to really merit consideration of a second, but needs to watch himself a bit more. Sets up Atlanta in a free kick position well within a few players' range. Good number of options around it. Tablante, Carmichael, and Armas, all of whom can have a pop. It's Carmichael! Just overcooks it. Not dipping enough. We've seen Carmichael begin to put his imprints on this. It had the whip, it didn't have the dip. And ultimately, Stokes can just watch it fly by his far post. You know about Carmichael's abilities, a versatile forward, someone more accustomed to playing a center forward role, at least in Next Pro last season. Now adjusting to playing behind the striker. It's an Atlanta squad a club in general that isn't shy about experimenting with players at different positions and building versatility. Carmichael may be the latest development in that saga. Hibbert looking for Brennan. It falls for Carmichael. Now over the top to Luke Brennan. Is there danger brewing here for New York? Riley flicks it towards Tablante. Dunham. Serwada can escort out of danger. Everything but the final ball so far for the Five Stripes. And unfortunately, that was the story of last season in general. Steve Cook last season on a number of occasions voicing how he felt his side dominated possession without a lot of legitimate chances on goal. We've seen a couple of those here in the first half. He feels his side will be able to turn that possession into more threatening chances here in 2025. And when you look at the names on the team sheet, you wouldn't dispute that assessment. Team that defeated Birmingham Legion, a second-tier club in the American soccer pyramid, 2-0 in the preseason. This is Kasule. Dunham. Brennan. Always dangerous on the ball and not shy about having another foray forward. Picking out Wynn. Falls for Neri. Just ran right into Juan Gutierrez to stymie the attack. Long throw from Dunham. To Blante, committing the transgression. Neymar Modelo slow to get to his feet. An addition on loan from Panamanian Giants Independiente, someone who's made 48 career appearances in Panama, and years ago became the second youngest goal scorer in Central American Cup history. He's a very dynamic wing back, playing on the right side tonight. And one of just 4 new additions for Red Bulls too, a team that brought back the nucleus of last season's side. Brennan was offside. And now booked for complaining to the official. So first Atlanta man in the book. Brennan not the captain tonight. That honor bestowed upon Javi Armas, and first dissent yellow we've seen from Luke Brennan. See, upset with the offside call and then boots the ball out of play for good measure. It's no hesitation from Elvis Osmanovic, who shows the card and keeping with consistency after he booked Colahuaso for dissent earlier. Armas. Late stages of this first half, Atlanta with the better of the minimal chances we've seen tonight. Some rust being shaken off by both squads, trying to acclimate their new players. Perhaps the opening 45 has been a reflection of that. Though Atlanta has had 1 or 2 chances that have jumped out. Brennan winning this back. No whistle from the referee, and Atlanta with numbers. Neri. Falls for Armas. He took a clattering on the edge of the area. Just going out for an Atlanta corner. It's taken short to Blante. Decent cross in. Neri got his head to it, but the flag is up on the far side. Atlanta with a goal ruled out just moments before intermission, and you must say it is the correct decision. He was well off at the time the ball was played. Armas. Brennan. Growing in confidence with each touch of the ball. Picking out Will Riley. To Blante. Is there an Atlanta breakthrough before intermission on the cards? Final minute of the opening 45. Hearing word it will only be one of added time. Good ball forward to Carmichael, who did draw Stokes off his line, but couldn't keep it in with that first touch. We're seeing the invention, though, the progressive play when Atlanta has the ball as the 1 minute of added time is confirmed. Starting to discover that incision in the final third, and now about just playing that final pass with a touch more accuracy. Serwata loses out to Brennan. Comes to Rojas. Just muscled off it by the combination of Armas and Morales. One final foray forward here in this first half. Modelo. And that is where we leave things. At intermission, no score between Atlanta and New York Red Bulls 2 on the first night of the campaign, but signs of promise for the Five Stripes before the break. It should make for a very interesting one in the next half of play. Our score of the half is Atlanta 0, New York 0. We'll step aside when we return to look around MLS Next Pro.
I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So it looks it's getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Welcome back. Highlights are coming up later in halftime, but first, North Texas SC lifted the MLS Next Pro Cup last season. In a first of its kind for the league, MLS Next Pro takes us behind the scenes for what the 2024 season was like for the defending champs and several teams around the league. Here's the trailer.
For these players, it's more than just a game. It's a dream, a journey, a chance to make history. They fought through a grueling season, pushed beyond limits, and sacrificed everything for their fans. The season's journey tested their bodies, minds, and hearts.
Torella arcs this ball around everybody! Oh!
Sullivan from distance, Havin Sullivan doubles the advantage for Philadelphia.
We have one more goal. One more. You guys gonna get it. Because you are the best team in this league. And we're gonna prove it tonight. Again, and again.
All the pressure's on this. Yeah? We're just a bunch of little kids who aren't supposed to be here.
In the end, only two will remain in the battle for supremacy.
Play the match, not the moment. You understand me?
This is more than a game. It's a legacy. The journey. The sacrifice. The glory. This is the road to MLS Next Pro Cup.
Visit MLSNextPro.com or MLS Next Pro's YouTube channel to check out all 5 episodes in what looks to be an exciting mini documentary. After the break, we will hear from several of our league's coaches as we recently celebrated Black History Month. Stay with us.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Welcome back to Atlanta, where the score at halftime is Atlanta 0, New York 0. To celebrate Black History Month, MLS Next Pro caught up with Black head coaches around the league to discuss what the celebratory month means to them.
Black History Month for me, it means a time to reflect, feel proud, feel motivated to just keep pushing on.
It's a time where we can all focus on the history and the contributions of people of color in this country. I think that's something that we should do throughout the whole year, but I also do appreciate the fact that we can dedicate a month into just focusing on certain subjects and certain traditions and historical figures that have given us the opportunity to do what we do in 2025.
Realizing that, and understanding that those people didn't die in vain. Right? They died for a purpose, to make my life better, to make other lives better within Black society.
Man, it's special to learn about these stories, to hear about these stories ever since you're a kid in school, and to see the impact that they had.
It is an uplifting time for people to kind of recognize, the past and try to bring it to the present.
I think this is so important to see the struggles of African, Black American. This means a lot for me.
A time to really learn for myself, for others outside the culture, right? To hopefully continue progressing as a society as a whole in a positive manner. I would say those sort of things are important.
This month for me is a time where society recognizes differences, and we reinforce that differences are good and enrich our world and society.
Now it's on us to continue to, move this thing along and be inspirations for the next kids to come through as well.
Soccer is so powerful in terms of it's actually a universal language where you could speak to anyone on the planet Earth just using this entity that we call soccer. And that's why I think it can be a catalyst to open minds and open doors and open hearts to certain things that people are not normally privy to, just because of the fact that they're drawn to the sport.
Everyone should be given a chance. Differences should not be something that closes a door to you, but at the very least generates curiosity.
It's the world's game. You can see people from all over the world play it. And so to see Black coaches, Black executives, and see them be successful, it shows that, yeah, anybody can do it.
We have to go against a lot of obstacles and a lot of hurdles. We always have to go above and beyond, to prove ourselves. So it's something that, I'm going to continue to work hard at and continue to build and continue to teach the other people who are coming, after me. It's to leave a legacy where they can emulate and look at, hey, this guy, he did it this way, he did it the right way.
Hopefully I can continue to grow and have more outreach and continue to help the younger generation.
Sometimes we don't think we're in that position to motivate people, to give them that little motivation that they might need to push through, but we are. So the responsibility is with us to make sure we're good role models for the next generation. So just trying to do the right thing.
Now that I'm a coach, I hope I can be a reference, especially within my playing career for other Black athletes. Not to be like me, but to be better than me and surpass me, right? I think that's the ultimate goal, right? Is the next generation sort of carries the torch and takes it even higher and even better.
The young ones, they can see us being me as a coach, and now you see it on to inspire them being in the position where I'm at. I think this is a big achievement also with all the coaches all over the world.
Seeing someone of your color in a position that they're in, it gives you that motivation to say, if he can do it, I can do it. So I think it's very important that we are well represented, whether as coaches, players in the front office, so we're visible to people of our color so that they can be motivated.
I started coaching in Toronto, and that's when I started to think probably more into that aspect of it. Seeing a lot of Black kids that I coached in the communities there, going out to camps and doing clinics and being one of a few Black coaches at that time, it kind of makes me feel good to say, hey, you guys can do this. Continue to work hard, continue to do the right things, continue to believe in yourself, and one day you can be a professional player, you can be a coach and help others. And so I feel very blessed and fortunate to have had the career that I had. It's unfortunate to be in this role that I have now, to be able to, hopefully help out in any way some of the younger generation.
when they visualize it, they can become more goal-oriented and how to achieve it. And that it's not just a dream, it's actually a goal with checkpoints in between, and they take themselves on their journey in order to achieve what they're trying to achieve, which is become a head coach in the MLS. So that's why it's important for people like myself to be in this position and to do well.
It's a lot of hard work. It's a long journey. You know, we have to go against a lot of obstacles and a lot of hurdles. We always have to go above and beyond, you know, to prove ourselves, you know. So it's something that I'm going to continue to work hard at and continue to build and continue to teach the people who are coming, you know, after me. It's to leave a legacy where they can emulate, look at, hey, this guy, he did it, and this way he did it the right way.
Work hard, have faith, believe in your dreams, because ultimately nothing is impossible. I would say to foster the ambition of getting better, have the humility to listen, and the last thing I would say is probably you cannot buy experience, but you can borrow it.
A terrific feature on the significance of Black History Month by MLS Next Pro as we get our look around match day 1 here in Next Pro action. A loaded slate. We have many games going on tonight, but as we look forward to the rest of the weekend, just one game on Saturday. It's Dynamo Dos hosting Sporting Kansas City 2, and then a loaded 6-match slate on Sunday. One of the big headliners, a pair of playoff teams in the Western Conference, LAFC 2 and Whitecaps 2, locking horns in the nightcap. So there's your look around the league for the remainder of the match week. Now it's time to jump in to our first half highlights. First 45 minutes in which chances were really at a premium, but Atlanta had the better of the action. Early on, set pieces galore. Armas's delivery finds Rodrigo Neri's head. A good stop from Aiden Stokes to get his campaign going. Red Bulls had a couple of moments here and there, but nearly caught on the counter here. This arguably Atlanta's best chance of the match. You see Brennan latch onto it. Ryan Carmichael threw on goal, but the intervention from Juan Gutierrez, who does that on a yellow card to prevent that from being on target. And then a free kick from Carmichael that at least drew the attention of Stokes, but unfortunately for Atlanta, not much more than that. And they continued to ramp on the pressure. Right before intermission, perhaps, they thought they had an opener. Rodrigo Neri at the back stick, but offside. The referee raising his flag immediately, and no time to celebrate for the 5 stripes. So that is really where we left things after 45 minutes of action. Not many chances, but Atlanta showing some promise before the break. The question is, can they translate that into goals and exercise some of those final third demons from a season ago? Steve Cook and company certainly hope so. Ibrahim Sakaya hoping his side can gain more of a foothold in the final 45 minutes. Just about set to start things. Atlanta going from left to right on your screen now. New York going right to left. The question is, can Atlanta find a goal and notch its first victory over Red Bulls 2 since 2020? Or will the Next Pro dominance by Red Bulls continue? You can find out in the remainder of this contest. Back underway here from Fifth Third Bank Stadium. Atlanta and Red Bulls 2 hoping that they can avoid sharing the spoils tonight. Carmichael, one of the livelier presences in that first half, and headed out of play for another Atlanta corner. They racked them up in that first half. We welcome you back in. Sam Goldfarb here from Kennesaw, Georgia. Chilly night in the Atlanta area, and one that has been loaded with yellow cards. 4 issued in that first half. Here's Tablante, and he overhits it for Rodrigo Neri. Well, it is an Atlanta side that is hoping the new additions can push them into postseason contention. 2 years ago, they hung around in the chase for the top 7, but unfortunately just fell short. Last year, far from that. Team that conceded the second most goals in the league. Steve Cook working to address that by bringing in a bevy of experienced defenders. And a team that finished 13 points off playoff pace a season ago. If the first 45 are any indication, they may be in a position where they can find themselves competitive for that first ever postseason berth. A team that throughout its extensive history, which began in 2017, has never found its way into the playoffs in any of its leagues. No changes either way, so same 11s that we began things with. You saw there was a gelling process in the first half for the 5 new additions on this Atlanta squad tonight. And there will be as the season unfolds, but Steve Cook feels the experience positions them better to deal with adversity, as Brennan is still prone on the pitch after that coming together. One back by Tablante. Goalkeeper off his line, and well, Stokes had to get a pair of palms to that for security. Leads to yet another Atlanta corner. This is Atlanta's 8th corner of the night. And they've created some havoc from set pieces. It is Armas yet again from the far side. Near post this time, a decent delivery. One that stood up by Red Bull's back line. Just to throw this time. Long throw from Wynn. Flicked along towards Riley. It was loose. There's contact on Stokes. It's cleared only as far as Efrain Morales, the experienced first-teamer that was part of Atlanta's inaugural Academy class years ago. Brennan down in the area. Appeals for penalty. The referee waves them away. And Brennan needs to watch his appeals because he walks that yellow card tightrope. You see here, Brennan steps foot in the area. I tell you what, perhaps the challenge was slightly mistimed, but would have been a very soft penalty to give at that. I believe Elvis Osmanovic has gotten it right. And now a yellow shown to Armas, who is the captain. Apparently something he said crossed a line for our lead official. We see Armas here, boots it away, and it's the contact after the fact, I think, which upsets him. Just a soft challenge in a Serwada. And when he kicks the ball away, that's what draws the referee's ire. There's been no nonsense about that. The second yellow card we've seen because a player booted the ball away after the fact. Six yellow cards issued tonight by Elvis Osmanovic. This is Rojas. Cuts inside, it's Andy Rojas! Rojas finishes! New York in front. Against the grain, Red Bulls lead. Well, Atlanta picked up the second half where the first half left off, but caught here on the break. Andy Rojas just accelerating beyond Efrain Morales. He's certainly aided by a deflection, but he won't complain. The 19-year-old's first goal in New York colors. The Herediano Loni, someone who lit up the action at times for the Costa Rican Giants, striking for New York on his debut. So much talent at the 19-year-old's feet. Someone who's already made 5 senior appearances with the Costa Rican national team and was included in their Copa America squad this summer. With Red Bulls 2 in his first appearance, striking to give them the unlikely lead. Question is how Atlanta will respond tonight. So much emphasis from Steve Cook on how hopeful he is about his side's ability to cope with adversity. It appears his squad will need to find out whether that cautious optimism is warranted in match 1. Here is the goal scorer, Rojas. Suddenly New York brewing with confidence. Serwada. Rojas again. This is where that Red Bulls press might start to wear down Atlanta, especially fresh off of a goal. An extra boost in that step. Fresh legs potentially coming off the bench. If Atlanta is to get back into this, they'll have to do it the hard way. Brennan. Snatched back by the striker Christian Gallagher, the academy product. We get your first proper look at Ibrahim Sakaya in his 3rd season as manager with Red Bulls 2. Guided them out of a slump that began in the early 2020s by taking them to the postseason 2 years ago. But last season, a major regression, and he lamented the lack of defensive solidity. A team that allowed the 3rd most goals in the league a year ago, and that really negated an attack that was top 10 in Next Pro with 52 tallies. Ultimately, well, they found themselves on the fringes of postseason contention at the end of the year. It felt like their fate was sealed by the final 3-4 matches. Here tonight, weathering the storm out of possession for 50 minutes, and then breaking the deadlock shortly thereafter. Well, if you're just joining us, despite 50 minutes of Atlanta control, New York finds itself in front. Andy Rojas on the counter around the 50-minute marker, breaking the deadlock, aided by a deflection. But as things stand, Atlanta forced to battle back to salvage anything from this. Here's Dunham to Blante. Always so dangerous on it. It's a flashing cross which finds no one in red and black. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is presented by Emory Healthcare. We are beyond the 55-minute threshold in this season opener between Atlanta United 2 and New York Red Bulls 2. And as things currently stand, Red Bulls 2 would move their unbeaten run against Atlanta to 7 matches. They've not lost to Atlanta United 2 since 2020. And in Next Pro play, unbeaten in the only 3 meetings dating back to 2023. Here's Modelo to the byline. Gets a bit of an extra shove in the back, but Elvis Osmanovic unmoved by that contact. Well, it's been a choppy one. 20 combined fouls in this match, many of which have yielded yellow cards. A few of them not even directly off the fouls, but reactions from players, be it dissent, kicking the ball away. I've seen 6 yellow cards issued in this match in under an hour. To Blante. This is Efrain Morales. Win. Well, not much Jaden Hibbert could have done about the first test he faced. An awkward deflection, a looping ball that went well over his head and outstretched glove. But finds himself in a losing position at the minute. Really through no fault of his own. His counterpart, Aiden Stokes, has been the busier of the 2 keepers. Has found himself in some awkward positions, but has held the line for a defense that has been much improved so far compared to the tail end of 2024. Some of the reinforcements really providing a positive punch. When we rapidly approach the hour mark from Kennesaw, Georgia, at the 10,000-seat venue, Fifth Third Bank Stadium. The homestanding Atlanta United 2 side trailing New York Red Bulls 2 1-0 and racing to find their way back into this in the season opener. It's been a match where chances have been at quite the premium tonight. And for all of Atlanta's possessional supremacy, unfortunately, very little to show for it in the final third. Here's a ball over the top. Carmichael looking to change that. And it falls. There he got a touch, but not nearly enough weight on it. Kasule. Read perfectly by Wynn. Space here for a cross. Brennan. Enjoyed the lively spell in the 11 in that first half. This is Armas. Tries from afar. A low driver that Stokes read to perfection. Atlanta with just under 30 minutes to change the complexion of things. New York side in a position to pull off a smash and grab tonight. Serwada blasting it forward towards Gallagher. Won't catch up to it. Hearing word that Red Bull's readying the first change of the match. Timothy Logan, the academy product, getting set to enter for the goal scorer Andy Rojas, whose deflected effort makes the difference through an hour. Carmichael toward the byline. And Stokes manages to keep it in play. You wonder when Steve Cook, the veteran with over 3 decades of coaching experience, will begin to think about changes of his own. Someone who has coached at a bevy of MLS franchises, was even appointed interim head man at the end of the 2017 season for Colorado Rapids, and followed Gareth Lagerwey to Atlanta a couple seasons ago. Tablante's effort did take a deflection, and so the Five Stripes can continue to rack up the corner count. The 9th corner for Atlanta. Garth Lagerwey, a former Sounders CEO, moving to Atlanta, and that's what drew Steve Cook here. In swinging ball. It's headed down. Neri got a touch to it. And it missed at the far post. See, it's hooked in. Neri heading it into the deck, trying to generate an awkward hop, but doesn't put it on target. And here the change is taking place. It is Timothy Logan who will replace Andy Rojas on the flanks. Logan, a listed defensive midfielder though, so more defense-minded change for Ibrahim Sakaya as his side looks to protect the 3 points. Logan currently playing for the U18s at the moment, a Georgetown commit at 17 years of age. Adventurous ball towards Neri. Cleaned up at the source by Gutierrez. Approaching the final 25 minutes of this one. Five Stripes still with plenty of work left to be done. Squad that has caught the eye of fans with some clean build-up and some slick interplay. Still have yet to unlock this Red Bulls back line. Will it change here? Tablante has numbers in the box. It's cleared only as far as Javi Armas, who's dispossessed by Serwada. Steven Serwada has been all over the shop for Red Bulls 2 tonight. His 5th season with the Red Bulls organization at just 22 years of age. You're seeing the defensive midfielder cover acres of space tonight. Ugandan international with 6 caps at the senior level. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher. Brennan Ushered wide to Tablante. And Brennan continuing his run. Armas. The captain who's mentioned how winning and losing in some respects hurts more at the professional level. He's so committed to seeing this team succeed. When curling it. Falls for Armas! Oh, it was an eye-catching effort, but Stokes doing just enough to keep it out. And may deal with the physical after effects of that. This would have been quite the strike. See Wen cut inside, and it just gets popped up right to Armas, who connects with it very sweetly. Stokes reading it though, and it's within his reach, able to keep it out. It's impressive that he caught that on one go, because that effort had quite a bit of ferocity to it. Well, Javi Armas, the captain, was given the captain's armband in his first year as a professional after being drafted 48th overall in last year's Super Draft. And Steve Cook has raved about his ability to captain the side. And said that if you want to see a good captain in action, just follow Javi Armas around for 2 weeks. See how he interacts with his teammates. See how he connects with them off the pitch and also serves as a locker room leader. Mentioned how Javi Armas, the man in his house that buys all the groceries for his roommates who also happen to be his teammates. He takes ownership of whatever position he's put in. And here he is again. Trying to pull the strings in the center of the park. Brennan. A heavy return ball. Falls for Gallagher only briefly though. Dunham. We rapidly approach the final 20 minutes of action on opening night of the Next Pro campaign. It is still Red Bulls 2 clinging to a 1-0 lead. Andy Rojas in the 50th minute making the difference. Question is, can an Atlanta side that has bossed the run of play all night unlock this surprisingly stout Red Bulls 2 back line? Armas. Surrounded by defenders and fouled in the process. And this is Carmichael. Still trying to make an impact in his Atlanta debut. Low cross to Blante. The effort deflected, and it ultimately took the sting out of it. Tell you what, Aiden Stokes is going to be very grateful for this deflection. It's a great cross from Ronan Wen, and it falls perfectly to Tablante, but it is just the interference of Aymar Modelo which makes the difference. Atlanta, though, continuing to flash promise going forward. It's turned over here. Gallagher threading it through to the substitute Logan, who did get to it first. But Hibbert cleaning up the mess. Starting to open up here. You see Wynn turning it over. It's a lackadaisical back pass, and Gallagher plays a decently weighted ball here. But it just took Logan a touch wide, and that gave Hibbert the time he needed to close it down. Changes, and they're coming from New York once again. It will be Copeland Berkeley who replaces Aymar Modelo, an industrious debut for the Panamanian. And Berkeley, someone who made double-digit starts this season ago for Red Bulls too, more of a natural wingback. Will replace him in a like-for-like swap. Here's Dos Santos' outswinger. Serwada chipping it towards the back post. No one there to greet it. Still awaiting our first change of the evening from Atlanta. Steve Cook appears to be content with what he's seen from his side going forward. Serwada once again intervening. Hibbert first to it. It's an Atlanta side that didn't win many matches in the late stages, but had a knack at times in close matches for the late game spectacular. Of course, the come-from-behind victory at Chattanooga in September, where they scored 2 goals in stoppage time to win it, comes to mind. This is Dunham to Blante. Neri's cross. Kasule gets in the way. It's cleared only as far as Mazzaferro. When Armas. Carmichael linking well with Riley. And still Riley. No options to unlock this back line just yet, with 5 parked well behind it. Here where Atlanta is readying a change. It will be Patrick Weah, the former Minnesota United 2-star, in line to replace Rodrigo Neri up front. Weah brings a whole new layer of danger to this Atlanta side. One of the many star-studded newcomers to enter this Five Stripes fold this season. Sullivan. One back by Dunham. To Blante. We are now within the final quarter of an hour of the initial 90. It is still Atlanta chasing. New York remaining stout. To Blante with space. Serwada picks out a terrific ball forward. Well, here is the change. A frustrating night for Rodrigo Neri, in which he had very few touches, comes to a close. And they bring on a proven goal scorer in Patrick Weah, a man who spent a good chunk of the early stages of his pro career with his boyhood club, Minnesota United, and was even under contract as a first-teamer last year. Could never properly break into the first team, and despite scoring 8 goals in 13 appearances, found himself looking for a new club in the offseason. He's found a new home with Atlanta, and Steve Cook has raved about his contributions in preseason as Sirwada is slow to get up for Red Bulls too. Patrick Roya signing that Next Pro deal in January, and someone who, again, 8 goals in 13 appearances last year, despite bouncing between first and second team football and also being loaned out to the Danish second tier at one point towards the tail end of the campaign. He is still a valued talent in the Next Pro ranks. Fans, this portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Adidas. So we are within the final 15 minutes. The story remains the same. Atlanta chasing. New York hoping to ensure there are no breaches in the back line. It's a late challenge from Carmichael, and it is one that draws the ire of our lead official. So much talent right now on the pitch for Atlanta. When you do the math, factoring in Luke Brennan's 4 goals, the front 4, if you will, for Atlanta scored 24 combined goals a season ago. And Carmichael, of course, the man with the bulk of those. This is played forward, a chance, and the flag is raised against Logan, who was just a footstep or two early with his run. Hibbert did enough to close it down anyways. You see nice interplay between Berkeley and Kasule, and yeah, just a step or two offside for Timothy Logan. For a moment, his eyes got wide, thinking that may have been his opportunity to kill the match off. And making his professional debut for Red Bulls too, an academy graduate. Carmichael, craftily done. Hoofing it forward for Brennan. Kasule. Always dangerous on the ball. A decent ball forward towards Logan. It's read well, though, by Hibbert. Ten minutes remain of the initial 90. Well, all of Atlanta's sojourns forward prove futile. Hearing word Red Bulls are preparing yet another change. It will be a defense-minded one. Curtis Ofori getting set to replace Christian Gallagher. And that will take place right now. So Ofori, a listed fullback, replaces the striker Gallagher. First teamer in Ofori, who's still trying to carve out a regular starting role in the professional ranks. 19-year-olds out of Hopewell Junction, New York.
Exiting the match, number 89,
long throw from Wen.
Gallagher. Entering the match, number 24, Curtis Ofori.
Dinking this one in towards Carmichael. Brennan ran right into Ofori. To Blante. Another corner on the way for Atlanta. This is number 10 of the night. Few of which have yielded clean headers for the Five Stripes. Can Armas change that storyline? Seen his influence grow as the match has worn on. Within swing, falls for Brennan. Armas, follow-up cross, back post, just beyond the reach of Weah. Well, so far, Aiden Stokes has enjoyed a strong night, not peppered, despite New York being out of possession for the lion's share of the evening. And when you consider last year, so many shots came his way, made just 18 starts, which is very respectable for any goalkeeper in Next Pro, but found himself top 10 in the league in saves despite going through his ups and downs as then a 16-year-old. Here tonight would be in line for just his second career clean sheet in Next Pro action if the result holds. Of course, a big if, given the traffic in the second half. Dunham. Ronan win again. To Blante. Here's the first touch from Weah. Appealing for handball. Referee said it went out of play, and it is a corner. And it is not, so they do hand it back to New York as Atlanta readies their second change. Unsurprisingly attack-minded, Ashton Gordon replacing the 17-year-old Braden Dunham. Gordon, of course, beginning last season as a reserve winger. The front office trying to convert him into more of a striker, but tonight may find himself in a fullback role, or a makeshift one at that, as Atlanta chases this. And that's a physical coming together between Morales and Logan. Ibrahim Sakaya seems displeased at the inaction from our official. To Blante, he's looking for Gordon, and that evades him. Too much weight on it. Ashton Gordon, 17 years of age now. An academy product that broke into the second team ranks a season ago. Made 16 appearances largely as a super sub. Scored 2 goals last season, one of which came in that comeback victory against Chattanooga in what was arguably the game of the year in 2024 in MLS Next Pro. Wound up being a 4-3 victory for the Five Stripes in a result that really proved to be a devastating blow to Chattanooga's postseason hopes. A team that over the summer found itself top of the Eastern Conference and then tumbled down the standings as the year unfolded. To Blante. Decent cross into Weah. Just over the bar. Delicious delivery here from Moises Tablante. And Weah stopping his run. Takes a lot of power to redirect that on target and doesn't quite get the angle right on the header. A difficult one to pick out of thin air when you have to stop your run midway. Time really running thin on Atlanta now. Brennan. This is Armas. It is all-out attack mode for Atlanta at this stage. Tablante on the overlap. Room to cross. Another half-hearted appeal for handball that is blatantly ignored. Just no way through when Atlanta finds itself on the fringes of the penalty area. When Riley. Tablante. And they say it did take a touch off Stokes. So corner 11 for Atlanta tonight. And it did not require Stokes' intervention. It was headed well beyond that near post. A gift for Atlanta late. It is Tablante. It's taken short to Brennan. To the edge of the area, Gordon in space, floating it toward the back stick. Nobody in black and red can get a touch to it. And very soon, it will all be at John Rush's discretion in terms of minutes added on. Second half, which outside the goal, really lacked any major stoppages of note. Brennan to Carmichael. When Carmichael. Oh, Forey first to it. Perhaps numbers on the break. Tugged down by Carmichael. And no hesitation showing the yellow. A professional foul. One that does do the job. One that does give Red Bulls a chance to milk precious seconds off the timer. You see a Forey here on the break. It's a 2-on-4. Maybe doesn't necessarily warrant that challenge, but Carmichael taking no chances and caution for his troubles. 3 minutes of added time separate us from full time. And as things stand, it is Red Bulls 2 in position to pull off a major smash and grab on the opening night of the season. Team overrun and out of possession for large spells, but their defense, one which was much maligned a season ago, has held strong tonight. Well, Forey loses out, and Brennan sent tumbling. Atlanta in do-or-die mode now. To Blante forward. They're only as far as Efrain Morales. To Blante. Gordon. They're only as far as Armas. Floating it towards Gordon. Read well by Gutierrez. Rapidly approaching the final minute of added time. If it's going to come for Atlanta, it must come now. Brennan, and now Riley. Switch toward Tablante, and Mazzaferro penalized for the heavy contact on Ibrahim Kasule. You see here Kasule trying to track over to it. Mazzaferro drops the shoulder. And it is some extracurriculars that Red Bulls players don't appreciate. It's their time for one final break forward for the Five Stripes. Win. Armas. Tablante. Hoofed forward, played by Stokes. And that may just do the trick. And that it does. A smash and grab for Red Bulls, 2 on the road. Allows them to claim all 3 points in 1-0 fashion. It's Andy Rojas' 50th minute tally on his debut, which makes the difference and leaves Atlanta empty-handed despite bossing proceedings. Well, what a difficult result it is for Atlanta, which is now 4 winless against Red Bulls 2 in both clubs' Next Pro era. For Red Bulls, what a result to secure their first clean sheet after struggling at the back a year ago. It's now time for our man of the match tonight, and who else but Andy Rojas, our goal scorer. The goal in the 52nd minute, he just latches onto this, cuts inside Morales, perhaps a slight deflection on his effort, but one which soars over the head of Jaden Hibbert and makes the difference tonight to allow Red Bulls 2 to snatch all 3 points on the road. An excellent performance from him and his counterparts on the pitch. Well, for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb. Once again, our final score, Red Bulls 1, Atlanta United 2-0. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. It ends with Red Bulls claiming all 3 points in their season opener. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. From Kennesaw, Georgia, signing off.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.